Hello, friends. So happy to have you here with me today at Radical Joy. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time with me, well, I'm glad you're here. Each week, I'm here with you talking to myself about things that weigh on my mind and heart, hoping if you're dealing with something similar, we can adjust our perspectives as you listen. Hey, if you're struggling with something that needs immediate attention, please know that help is available. Just dial 988 nationwide in the U.S. to reach the Mental Health and Suicide Crisis Hotline. All of us here at CLW Studios believe that mental health is a vital part of our well being. The more people I meet and the more places I go, the more I realize how important it is to make people aware of the fact that there is no shame in enjoying the parts of our lives that are incredible. It's time for some radical joy. And this week, the three fingers pointing back at me are for the color orange, represented in this episode by anxiety and serenity. Part two of a 7-part series here on Radical Joy for Pride Month. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend seeing the movie Inside Out in as many of those episodes you can get. I know at the time of filming there are at least two. And it's interesting to watch how as Riley's emotions sort of deepen and evolve as she grows older and her needs become a little bit more intricate, that we get introduced to new characters. And one part that I love about this is anxiety is this young, um, kind of frenetic character, and they are orange and frizzy haired, trying to keep in control of literally everything. And it seems that this character is one of the largest problems in Riley's life. It continues to make a problem. It continues to set everyone on edge. It continues to restrict some of her healthier, um, more, I don't want to say base, but I think some of her simpler emotions. And it continues to bottle them up, repress, etc. And what we see in the end is, I don't want to ruin the movie for anyone, but it doesn't go well by letting anxiety drive the whole machine. So while we're looking at that, what I would love to say is that this episode is dedicated to anxiety, and the complement to this emotion, at least for this episode, is going to be serenity. I hesitate to call it an opposite. What I would like to do is say that the two of these together work to make a whole. And they do feel as though they are on opposite sides of a coin, but I think they probably work together in a lot of ways that we're not really attuned or used to thinking about. And so let's just explore it. Let's just chat about it for a little while. What do you say? In the year of our Lord 2025, I think anxiety, especially among Americans, is a major driving force in a lot of our emotions. They take up a very, just an enormous part of the pie. For whatever reason, I have a pie chart in my head now, and I'm thinking that there's a sliver cut out for all of the others, and anxiety is a lion's share of this pie. And what I'd like to do is just sort of investigate a little bit on that. Personally, I deal with mine with things like journaling and study, reading. I work out often. I've got a gym appointment today in about 4 hours, and it's one of those things where I continue to find avenues so that this energy. We used the word frenetic earlier, and I like that a lot. It feels rushed without anywhere to go. It builds an uncomfortable feeling inside with little to no reason, and it tends to bleed onto other aspects of life, and it seems to make those move faster with no need, unnecessary quickness. And we have to be super mindful of that because it is really easy to do that. I have a to-do list here to my right, and I rewrite it almost every day because I don't know, it makes me feel good for one thing. The old one is all crumply and stupid, and it's got a lot of things that are scribbled off. And I need to make sure that the new one is at least a little cleaner. I can make the new one without the things I've already taken off. And I can add a couple more that may have popped up overnight or, oh, I forgot about that. It happens. It's absolutely fine. And as I work on it through the day, there are parts of me that just get anxious about it. It's like, "Ooh, I didn't get this done today. Did I do enough work on this item? Oh, no, 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 no." All of these things come together to sort of rev me up into a state that has a little bit more kinetic energy in it than is warranted. And so what I have to do is kind of breathe through it. Something wonderful that I have remembered and started applying more regularly to literally everything that I do. I say, okay, I can't think about what I haven't done. What I can't do is look at all of the days that have passed without me working on X project or the progress I should have been doing up to this point and just did not. Instead of getting anxious about those kinds of things, what I do is I look at it and I say, okay, great. Starting from now, today, this exact moment, we're moving forward with this project and it's going to be fine. And I cannot tell you the kind of productivity I have regained from that one little thing. Whether it is your fitness journey or your nutritional journey or your relationship or your job or something like that, there's nothing in the world that says you have to carry all of the stuff that happened from before to now. What we can do is pick up the ball from where we're standing on the field and run with it from there. I can't mourn what I have let get by me. What I can do is make a promise to myself that I'm going to pick up the ball and run from where I stand right here now today and do the very best I can with it. It's a practice. It's one of those things where you have to practice to perfect, and that's fine. I'm going to give myself the grace to do that because it has made things infinitely easier for looking at something and saying, okay, today's the day we do that. I'm not worried about how long it's been on the list or how many times I've written it over the past days, weeks, however long. Today is the day I make progress on this and hopefully get it done. Super. I cannot tell you how helpful that has been to me. And maybe you're one of those people who doesn't need that kind of help. Wonderful. My heart goes out to you. Well done, you. I am thrilled for you. As for me and my other people over here, sometimes we need some hacks, some hints. And that's one that's been really good for me. And how that has helped me is in that it has changed that anxious energy into a serenity by the day's end that makes me rest easier at night, which helps me go put more of myself into the other things in my life, like workouts or times with friends or times with people that I have grown to love, etc. It gives me a freedom in those sorts of things where I can enjoy it more fully instead of worrying about what I didn't get done on my list because I did, or I made some really great headway or progress. And so this time that I get to use as a fullness in my life is now exactly that. It doesn't have the shadow of something over it that I didn't get done. What it does is leaves me more free to enjoy those times because I did make progress and I'm feeling pretty proud about it. Serenity is one of those things I think serenity is a practice and anxious is what happens when we don't practice. For any and all of my musicians out there, if you don't practice, daily, it tends to fall into disrepair. If you don't practice, I played trumpet and baritone or euphonium for years. And if I practice just a little every day, between 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even an hour, if I was being super on top of my business, the amount of improvement I would make would boggle my mind. It's like, oh, wow, those notes are really easier to hit. I remember whenever I was rehearsing for All-State Band auditions, my mom came into my bedroom to wake me or whatever, and she said that I was blowing my horn in my sleep, and my fingers were moving to the mouth, to the fingerings on the horn because part of the audition was playing scales, including the majors, the minors, melodics, etc. And she came in and she said, "Bless your heart, you had practiced so much that you were doing it in your sleep." And there are parts of my life that I would love to be on that kind of autopilot. I have rehearsed them so much that even when I am resting, I am still working and improving and growing and evolving, right? That the fact that even in my sleep, and I'll be honest, it felt like a very restful sleep. I don't remember any time in high school where I didn't have incredibly restful sleep. Even now as an adult, I can fall asleep at the drop of a hat. Now, staying asleep, that's a little trickier, but falling asleep, no problem. What I would love is these things that I know work in my favor to make me a bigger, better, stronger, kinder human being. I would love to rehearse them so frequently to a level of proficiency that what I can do is that even when I am sleeping, my mind is continuing to work on these things so that I can wake up even better. I think that what's going to happen is that while I sleep, the work that I have done is going to be integrated into my processors, you know? It's going to be one of those things where it literally just becomes part of my genetics. My DNA is going to have those little threads built into it, into the double helix to say, yeah, this right here, and this is where, this is where we stay calm, cool, and collected instead of getting anxious or freaked out about something that we have well in hand. It's funny. There are several things, big things that are coming up for me in the next few weeks. And by the time you hear this, more than likely, many of them will already be finished. But to think that I am a cool cucumber about any of it at this moment would be hilarious. I am freaking out about things that I know that I could do in my sleep if I just breathed, found that center, look for and cultivate my own serenity, and have the confidence and faith to know that all of these things are well in hand. Here's the fun part. How many times, especially performers, etc., throw a hand in the air unless you need both hands for driving your bicycle to show me if you had just relaxed, if you had just trusted that you had whatever it was you needed to have well in hand, how much better you would have done on said task, performance, um, presentation, discussion, any of these kind of things, if you had just approached it with a solid, centered, serene confidence. Instead of allowing your anxiety and fear and lack of your own skill or fortitude to lead you into the fray to completely sort your business, right? It's whenever I get scared, whenever I start to get really nervous, anxious, excitable, whenever things go sideways, whenever I forget my lyrics, whenever I forget my lines, whenever I go up on a certain amount of a segment of a presentation or talk that I'm giving. Yeah, of course. And whenever I just let the bravado of Bullard take the lead and walk right through the fire, yeah, I might get some singe around the eyebrow and maybe, a little ash on my fingertips. Cool. You know what I didn't do? I didn't stand still long enough to let it reduce me to ash. I walked out of that like a Targaryen. Okay? To give us a little Game of Thrones reference. We've hit some Disney and now we got GOT up in it. Congratulations. Oh my God. All these folks are going to come after me for copyright. I apologize. I promise it's all good. And I haven't sworn once during this episode yet. So the thing is, we got to continue to focus on the things. What is it we do well? What is the thing? What are the things? It doesn't have to be just one thing. We got loads of folks out there that are well within the range of my voice, multi-talented, rocking the absolute ever-loving bejesus out of their lives. Great. Then whenever something large comes along, like something that is potentially trajectory altering, we start to get a little concerned, right? We start to get just a little bit nervous, and those nerves sort of grow into an anxious. And then that can turn into something that turns into maybe a paralysis or a stumbling block or any number of things that if we just treated it like it was another day at the office, that wouldn't be something that was enough to shake us to our core or our foundations, right? Exactly. So, what I would like to do is perhaps put us on a way so that we can continue to look for methods of maintaining serenity, cultivating it, growing it, so that whenever we start to feel a little bit more of that frenetic energy, we can basically, the word I feel is overwhelm it, but that feels a little harsh. What I would like to do is maybe a overwhelming with kindness or a submerge. That's what I think because the overwhelm that I feel for whatever reason has a very specific aesthetic. It feels liquid. It feels as though the anxiety needs sort of like a viscous liquid, like a honey, to sort of coat it and to slow it down and to sweeten it. So that instead of this very sharp, static electric feeling sharpness, this vibration, it feels as though it's almost like a tremor. That honey comes in, and it's not a small amount either. It's quite a bit. It's like a jar that we just overturn on top of this anxious feeling that will coat all of those edges, that will insulate that electric shock, that will slow that tremor so that you can see it with more clear lines instead of the blur that perhaps an anxiety can put on it, right? And we're going to warm it and we're going to soften all those edges and we're going to sweeten it, but very naturally, very nourishingly. Okay. So that now instead of this frenetic feeling, this tremor, this rank unsurety that lives inside us, we have coated it and we've slowed it and now we've warmed it and we've given it more girth is what we've done because we put several layers on the outside that provide that nourishment for it, and now we can hold it. It's no longer something dangerous to be contained, it is something nourishing to be held. Right? Isn't that a lovely thought? That now I'm going to use that serenity to have the confidence in myself that whatever I'm facing, that I can do so in confidence and strength instead of some sort of unhinged, shaking, brittle something that leads me to believe that I'm not well aware or well in control of whatever this is that I'm about to face. We don't need to feel like that. If you're listening to Radical Joy right now, we're all on a journey to make ourselves better every day. And chances are very good we're already really flipping cool. Wonderful. Why? Because we know that we need help. Because that we know that we're still on our path and our journey. We haven't reached the end, and hopefully I won't be finished improving myself until they put me in the ground. And here's the thing too. I don't know that I want to be put in the ground. I think what I would prefer is to just sort of be I think I'm a cremate kind of guy. And then whenever we're done with that, what I'd love is to put my remains around the roots of a tree. Have y'all seen these pods they have? The thought of putting me 6 feet under the ground after embalming and yada, yada, yada sounds awful to me. Not that I'll care. I'll be gone. It won't be me. It'll just be the shell I leave behind. The thing is, I want to continue to improve until the day that what's left of me, hopefully, in everything that I do, I am serving to feed people that I love that want to do better. And when I am gone, I would like to continue to feed and nourish something that will help others, whether it's taking CO2 out of the air or pumping O2 back into it. Yeah. Ain't no reason why when I shuffle off this mortal coil, that's what is left behind can't still do some good. And I like the thought of that. It makes me feel good. I have no need for people to put flowers on a headstone that hasn't held anything to do with me for however long. Certainly don't want to put that kind of expense on the people I leave behind. What I would like to do is make sure that we continue to glow and burn. And there's an idea of a phoenix in there somewhere. I want to absolutely, whenever this old body just turns to nothing, at least the ashes can still do something helpful, right? Yeah, I love that. So to get back on track, the anxiety is something that I think that plagues a lot of us. Everything is on so much shorter a timeline. Our attention spans are so much shorter. We've got those phones on our hand 24/7 that's ring a ding ding in every other second with a notification about a text message or a new email or a notification from any number of social media platforms that are screaming for our attention. And it's just annoying because I work with it very closely, so I know how bad it is for all of us. And because I am so hyper aware of it, what I would also like to say is there are times where you can, especially if you've got all your loved ones close and you don't need that thing for an hour, put it on silent. Put that sucker on do not disturb. Hide it. Put it in a bag. Put it under the table. Da 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 da. Yes, that. I found that I do that a lot with a lot of friends of mine. Now, granted, if we take a bathroom break at any point, you can bet the first thing I'm going to do is reach for that phone just to make sure that whatever other important human needs to reach me, that by golly, I just got to check. Mm, I'm working on it. I'm aware of it. And when we're in conversation, when we're at the lunch table or coffee or dinner or whatever it is that we're doing to very specifically share our time in a focused manner, one with another, that thing is either face down or in a pocket or in a bag or under something somewhere where I don't have to look at it at all. May God have mercy on my soul. One of my producers for the band, he wanted a super noticeable notifier whenever he got any kind of text message or whatever. So on an iPhone, you can set it so that your flash will go off whenever you receive a text message. And woe be unto me that I did that for him. He loves it. It is the single most distracting and annoying thing that I have seen in a minute, short of putting a siren on the phone. The good news is at least it's silent. It's just incredibly bright and obnoxious, and he finds it very useful. Great. My job was not to make it more calming, it was to make something useful for him, and now he has it. Super dude. Great. And I took that sucker off my phone. That's how he found out about it. He saw it on my phone because I do keep my phone on D&D so much. And I was like, well, if somebody needs to text me or somebody needs to call me for whatever reason, I really need to make sure I get this notification for a phone call or a text, especially if I'm expecting something with an investment or, something financial. Da, 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 da. Great. Wonderful. He saw it. I said it. Oh my God. Anxiety. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? Now, maybe not for him because he can also put his phone down really easily. He loves watching videos on Instagram of bunnies and turtles and duckies and delicious. Great. He is not an addict like I think many of us are. He loves YouTube. I think also most of his things are super highly educational, where some of my things are just entertainment, funny, distract me from what I find very harsh and awful in the world, please and thank you. Super. Whatever it is that we've got, we have to remain mindful of the fact that the more frequently we flip or scroll or swipe or whatever, the shorter our attention spans become and the more apt we are to be a victim of our own anxious habit. So, what do? We adopt other habits that slow our pace. Journaling. I timed it this morning. It took me 27 minutes to write 3 pages of journal. I also have to make a conscious effort not to look at the ding dang phone while I'm doing it. It pulls me out of my zen. It completely disrupts my focus, and the chances are good it won't be just a check to see if someone wrote. I'll scroll through 5 to 11 minutes of TikTok videos. Oh, that's funny. Na 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 na. And the next thing I know, I've completely derailed my practice to reduce my anxiety by journaling. Same thing with study. I do my Duolingo every morning, and even though, hey, did anyone out there know that you can get to the end of a Duolingo? Because I did. And now it's just a maintenance program I do every morning, and I've got to get at least, like, 15, 20 minutes in. And it's great because it continues to push me to do better, and I have to literally conjure these phrases they give me in English into Dutch. I'm like, oh my God, so difficult, so much more difficult than any of the curriculum ever was. And I think it's actually working better. And they give me timed bonuses. They're like, congratulations, you'll get triple points for the next 10 minutes, meaning that as long as I stay focused on my language learning for the next 10 minutes, they'll give me triple the points while I'm working, which also dissuades me from moving on to other applications that are far more entertaining and much less nourishing or improving than my Duolingo. Why? Because it's trash. And I have no one to blame but me. My algorithms are trash. I claim about 72% of it from my own scrolling. I also have 28% that I will 100% give to the depraved individuals who inhabit my DMs, who I love and would not change for anything. And the stuff y'all send is warping the bejesus out of my algorithm for about 28% of it. And when it does, it is so embarrassing to try to have to search for anything in front of someone who does not know me, because the things that pull up in my search bar, my God, my God. So it is what it is. I accept it. It's just part of being friends with all of you, and that is what it's going to be. I continue to find things to work on my serenity. I go to the gym and I beat myself to death because I need it. My fitness is a priority, and while I'm at the gym, a phone is not something I can deal with. Number one, they don't allow earbuds, so I'm not going to be that jerk stick who walks around with his music playing off of his phone unless I literally have the whole place to myself. B, it's very class oriented. So if I get there and it's time for class and I'm checking in, my phone goes in the cubby and it doesn't leave until I am weeping leaving the box. Okay. Just so we know. Great. Wonderful. Focus, connection, serenity. It doesn't look serene. It looks as though I'm about to die a gruesome death more than once or twice over in the hour we get to spend together. And what that does is completely wring me, WRING, of all of the frenetic energy that I have left on a burpee puddle of sweat in the middle of the gym floor, or I've scraped it all off because I missed my box jump again. You just have to know what it is and how most effectively you can rid yourself of these kind of things. See what I'm saying? For some people, it's going to be something really cool and calm and lovely, like lighting a candle and listening to soft music, dimming the lights, giving yourself 5 minutes of alone time if you're dealing with a whole lot of other human beings. Just taking a minute. Great. Maybe it's that nasty workout where at the end of your day, where you've just had to deal with so much and you've had to sit still for so long, the thing you need more than anything is just to be physical, and you need to be almost violent in it. I give you permission. If you need it, you've got it. All you got to do is listen to the sound of my voice and understand you've got my permission to take your fitness to levels that will help expunge all of this frenetic energy from the person that you are, so you can refill with something that is rounder, warmer, fuller, sweeter, more honey, less Cheez-Its. How about that? Does that work? Honey is more of a gold. So Cheez-Its are definitely orange. And if you eat those wrong, they will absolutely poke you right in the top of the mouth with all of those corners and awful. So that's what I want to do. I want to clear your palate of Cheez-Its by flooding your mouth with honey. so that instead of all of that anxious energy, what we do is we warm it and we full it and we girth it with that honey so that now instead of that anxiety, you feel that serenity, calm, centered, warm, confident, amazing. Geweldig is the word in Dutch if you need it. So that you can move forward in this whole thing and be the boss you are. I love the time we get to spend together. Thank you so much for being with us here at Radical Joy. If this is your first episode, welcome. I'm happy you're here. This half hour has just flown by. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope something that we've gotten to talk about today has moved you to reply. I hope that you are talking back to your technology, whether it's your phone or your dashboard or wherever it is that you're listening. I hope that something that we've gotten to discuss today led you to forget that this is kind of a one-sided conversation to the fact that you had to holler back. Delicious. Love it. If this is not your first episode, welcome back, friend. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for thinking enough of what we try to do here with Radical Joy at CLW Studios to join us again for more episodes. If you're the kind of person who likes to leave a review, please do so. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform where you're listening. Make sure you send us a screenshot so we can send you some swag to show our gratitude for support. Word of mouth and those reviews are easily the best way we have of moving forward in the digital space. So when you do that for us, we'll make sure to send you some swag. Probably a sticker. We just have a brand new look here at Radical Joy, and we would love to send you a sticker that sort of gives that feel so that you can know that we appreciate you, appreciate what you do for us. And you can put that on a journal, a water bottle, a laptop, wherever you feel like sticking the sticker, and we love it. As always, friends, please, please, please stay strong. You're amazing. I'm so glad you're here. And please never, ever forget how much we love y'all.